Good. I am so happy to be here. I'm going to briefly go through some bullet points as to what we're going to cover in the next hour. We will be finished by the top of the hour and then spend the next half hour after that if you do want to stay on for question and answer and door prizes and some fun stuff. I also am going to answer your questions in terms of from the poll, answer those 4 questions in terms of what languages and how many languages and what year Google started. So right now, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover the Google you know, but we're going to concentrate more on the Google you may not know. Google web search, a lot of people think they have that down pat. There are a few things that might surprise you. Google can help you access books, journals, and magazines to help in your genealogy research, photographs. Office productivity, this is a big area. And when I say office productivity, I mean similar to programs such as Microsoft Word or Star Office or Open Office. Collaboration, you can work with family members and other researchers using some Google applications and products. Continuing with the Google you may not know, transcription, news, geography, research. And then there are links on the syllabus, the handouts that are being posted on the Legacy Family Tree website. There are probably over 20 or 30 links that are all clickable in the document. So everything that I will visit as a Google product or service, you will be able to replicate on your own. So let's get started. The Google you know. Most genealogists, family historians, Google is simply a search engine where you type what you want and viola or voila, there it appears, and you go and you click on it. I'm going to click on my link here, and you should be seeing my Google screen right here. And so one thing that you will notice here is everyone look up here in the upper right-hand corner. You notice that I am logged in. I will talk about this in a minute, but do you realize that you really should have a sign-in? There is a sign-in, sign-out function. You can set up an account with Google, and I really recommend it. To me, having a Google account is sort of not having a Google account. It's like not having a public library card or attending a genealogical society meeting but not signing up and becoming a member. You're really only getting about half of the deal. Google accounts are free. You can have more than one. In fact, I will be signing into several of my Google accounts while we're here and during this next hour. And so I really urge you to do that. Now, when you sign into Google, you might say, well, big deal. Here I am on the normal Google screen. I don't see anything different. For web search, you won't see anything different when you sign into Google. So let's go on to some of the functions here. The Google you may not know, this is what we're going to get into. Google is much more than a search engine. Do you realize that 66% of the market is dominated, the search engine market is dominated by Google, but there are a lot of other applications that people don't understand or use. You can see a complete list over on Wikipedia, has a very good link to a complete list of Google products. Now, in one of our first survey questions was how many products are there? There actually are 155 Google products. That is how many products there are. The Wikipedia article, which I'm scrolling through right here, lists all of them. Some of them are very, very arcane, you will never use. Some of them are location specific, such as Japanese input, etc. You can also get a good idea of what's been retired here, previous products that they used to use. And getting back to one of our other questions, which one is not a Google product? Actually, they were all Google products. That was a trick question. Picnic is a Google product used for images. Ride Finder is a Google product that lets you find and ride share with people in 14 major U.S. cities. So if you needed to rent a car together or share a ride to the airport, you could do that. Do you need a Google login? This is what I just talked about. While you don't need a Google login to access most of the basic products and services, it is highly recommended that you take the time to set one up. It allows you to set up a Google profile, a Gmail account, and much more. Okay, we're going to move on to Google Web Search. There are two areas here that I want to discuss that a lot of people, I don't feel, genealogists and researchers take advantage of. They are advanced web search and the Google cache. And I'm going to move over to Google right now and show you. If you're here on the Google homepage, what you need here is you go to Advanced Search, and you will get an advanced search form. You also can go to Advanced Search Tips up here in the beginning. Now, how would you use this? Well, you have the usual Boolean. If you want to exclude a word and you don't want family history, that makes sense. This is very basic information right here. But one thing that I'm going to do is, let's say I want to search for my Hennebergs. One of my lines that I use came over from Germany in 1870 to New York City. Hennebergs from the Saxony province in Germany. And let's say that I want to search for Henneberg, but look at this down here, search within a site or a domain. Did you realize that you could search for the Hennebergs that occur on RootsWeb? Go to Advanced Search, and here they are. I think this is kind of neat. I use this when I go to a website and I'm overwhelmed with all the results. If I wanted to, I could go back to Advanced Search. Another site, we are all or should be familiar with cindyslist.com, right? And Cindy's List, let me do it up here. If you don't know Cindy's List, Cindy's has been collecting, she's up to 281,000 links, hyperlinks, dealing with genealogy, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. So if I wanted to go back to my Advanced Search form here, I could say, show me the Hennebergs within Cindy's List. And there it is. So you could also come in here and change this just this way. The syntax is site : then the name of the site. And these are all the results from Ancestry. I don't know, I find that pretty neat. So that's what is happening with Advanced Search. What about cached? Let's see if I want to do Henneberg genealogy. Now, have you ever looked at this right here? Cached. Cached up here, if you look at it, it will say this is a cached copy and this is how it appeared on a certain date. I use the cached option. Let me go back to it. It appears mostly, if you look at it very closely, with many different records here in the web results. You can hit on type any one, and it will give you a snapshot of what that page looked like when it was saved however many days ago, usually up to 30 days. I use this when I find a website that is no longer active. We've all had that happen. We had a site that we used for research about 15 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago, and then we go to it and it no longer exists. Many times Google will have a cached snapshot of that site. So that is great to do. Perfect. We have a question here that I do want to answer from Fred. What is the advantage of multiple Google accounts? So Fred, if I can ask you to hold off for a minute, I'm going to show you what the advantages are as I log in and log out. But think of it this way. Multiple Google accounts would be for, what if you want a personal account? What if you want just an account for your genealogy research? What if you want an account for your business? What if you volunteer for a genealogical society? You could set up an account with an email for that. Many people set up different Gmail accounts. They set up one for all their spam email. This way they can use it for email and not worry about a lot of junk coming in. Those would be some of the reasons why you would do that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close some windows here and go back to our slideshow and move on. Okay, first up, Google Books. You think that you might know Google Books, but you may not be using all the features in Google Books. You can get to it from books.google.com. And let me go ahead and show that. Also, before I click on that link, how would you get to Google Books from here? I don't know if anyone knows that. There are two ways. There is a More menu up here in Google that a lot of people don't use. Notice Books, Translate, Calendar, Documents, Reader, Sites, Groups. But also, when in doubt,